head. That's what we tell them. That's the truth.
It's not the truth.
Of course it is.
There are loud villain speeches, and then there are quiet ones. In Season 4, Episode 6 of Breaking Bad, Walter White doesn't yell. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't even move much. He just stands in his bedroom and calmly tells his wife, "I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger."
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
One sentence, no weapon drawn, no raised voice, no dramatic music. And yet, in that single moment, Walter White dismantles every assumption his wife has held about him for over 20 years. This isn't just a cool line, it's the exact second Walter White stops pretending he's doing this for his family and fully embraces who he's becoming. What follows is a masterclass in psychological dominance, built not through violence but through the most devastating weapon a human being can wield, the absolute, unshakable declaration of who they are. To understand why this scene hits so hard, you have to understand the architecture of the life it destroys. For the entirety of their marriage, Skylar has operated under a very specific model of reality. Walter is the passive husband, the overqualified chemistry teacher, the man who got left behind, underpaid, overlooked, working a second job at a car wash while former colleagues built billion-dollar companies. He is safe, he is predictable, he is manageable, and Skylar has built her entire domestic identity around being the person who manages Walter White. This is not cruelty on her part, it is simply the equilibrium they settled into over decades. And for a long time, Walter accepted it, or so she believed. But by Season 4, Walt has cooked millions of dollars worth of methamphetamine. He has watched a man choke to death and chosen not to save him. He has ordered killings and destroyed one of the most powerful drug operations in the American Southwest. The man standing in that bedroom is not the Walter White that Skylar married. He is Heisenberg. And the tragedy of this scene is that Skylar doesn't fully understand this yet. She is still operating under the old rules. She is about to learn in the most visceral way possible that those rules no longer apply.
You're not some hardened criminal, Walt. You are in over your head.
Watch carefully what Skylar is doing here. She is not attacking him. She is not insulting him. She tells Walter she is afraid for him. On the surface, this looks like love, and part of it genuinely is. But beneath the concern lies a deeper psychological move, what we can call the concern gambit. By telling Walter he is in danger, she is implicitly telling him he is vulnerable, that he is the kind of man things happen to, not the kind of man who makes things happen. In any normal confrontation, this works. When someone expresses fear for your safety, social convention demands that you soften, reassure, accept the frame they've placed around you. But Skylar has made a fatal strategic error. She is using the tools of the old Walter White. She doesn't realize that man no longer exists.
Remember the message you left me the other day? When you said you loved me?
Watch him. There is no softening, no gratitude, no flicker of the old Walter. Instead, something far more unsettling happens. He becomes still, perfectly, terrifyingly still. This is controlled calm as intimidation. Most people associate dominance with volume, with shouting and aggression. But the most dangerous form of intimidation is the opposite. It is the person who becomes quieter as the stakes rise. Because silence in a moment of confrontation signals something profound. This person is not reacting. They are choosing. And deliberate words from a calm person carry the weight of absolute conviction.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
Listen to the architecture of that sentence. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. Walt does not say, I can handle it. He does not say, don't worry about me. Any of those responses would have stayed within Skylar's frame, accepting her premise that danger is something external, something that happens to Walter. Instead, Walt obliterates the frame entirely. He does not defend against danger, he becomes it. This is reframing the power dynamic in its purest form. In one sentence, Walt moves from object to subject, from the man things happen to the man who makes things happen. He is telling Skylar, and every person watching, that the categories she has been using to understand reality no longer apply. Notice what he doesn't do. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't step toward her. He doesn't make a threat because he doesn't need to. The statement is the threat. The calm delivery is the weapon. If he shouted, it would feel defensive. But this quiet, absolute delivery signals something far more dangerous. A man who has already decided who he is, and no longer requires anyone's agreement.
A guy opens his door and gets shot. You think that of me? No.
A man opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. This line is surgical. Walt is referencing Gus Fring, a man of extraordinary intelligence and power who was nonetheless destroyed. And Walt's move here is breathtaking in its precision. He takes the most dangerous man Skylar could possibly imagine and positions him as the victim. The man who opened his door. The man who got shot, not Walt. Walt is telling Skylar, without saying it explicitly, the man who orchestrated the destruction of someone that terrifying. That man is standing in front of you right now. This is the unanswerable statement. If Skylar agrees he is dangerous, she must accept she is powerless. If she disagrees, she has to explain how, and Walt has left her no foothold for logic, no opening for reason. He is not asking for her opinion. He is issuing a verdict about reality, and the certainty with which he delivers it forecloses any challenge. There is no but Walter that can follow this.
I am the one who knocks.
I am the one who knocks. 6 words, and with them, Walter White ceases to exist in that bedroom. What remains is Heisenberg, fully formed, fully committed, and fully terrifying. Bryan Cranston delivers this line with the quiet certainty of a man stating a physical law. Gravity pulls things down. The sun rises in the east. I am the one who knocks. Not a boast, a fact. In crime stories, the knock represents fear. Consequences arriving at your door. Someone else deciding your fate. Walt reframes the metaphor entirely. He isn't the man waiting inside, hoping the knock doesn't come. He's the one outside, initiating, choosing, deciding. And this is why Skylar's silence is not weakness. It is the only rational response to what has just occurred. She is not facing a man who is angry. She is facing a man who has achieved total internal alignment between who he believes he is and how he presents himself to the world. There is no crack in the armor, no hesitation to exploit, no flicker of the old Walter to appeal to. Skylar represents what most of us would do. She approaches this confrontation armed with logic, with concern, with moral authority. She is objectively right. Walt is putting their family in danger. Every fact is on her side. And none of it matters, because Skylar is operating from fear and Walt is operating from identity. Fear is reactive. Identity is foundational. You cannot use fear to move someone who has decided at the deepest level of their being that they are the thing to be feared. This scene lasts barely 2 minutes. Walt never raises his voice. He never makes an explicit threat. And yet, by the time he is finished, the power structure of their entire marriage has been permanently restructured. What this scene teaches us about power is uncomfortable but essential. We like to believe that truth wins arguments, that the person with the better case always comes out on top, but power flows towards certainty. It flows toward the person who knows, or appears to know, exactly who they are and what they are willing to do. When you encounter someone who has fully committed to their identity, who speaks with zero doubt and zero apology, you are facing the most dangerous kind of adversary, one who cannot be reasoned with because reason requires doubt. And they have none left. Walter White walked into that bedroom as a man his wife thought she could manage. He walked out as a man she could only fear, and the only weapon he used was the most powerful one any human being can wield, the absolute unshakable declaration of who he is.